It is a great pleasure for me to welcome once again a veteran journalist, a former news editor, Sunity Maharaj. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, and good morning to you and to your audience.
It is good to have you here, as it is always. Lloyd Best, Trinidad and Tobago. Many say that he was, as I articulated a moment ago, the intellectual. Some said he was beyond the mainstream. Some said he spoke truth to power when it was not popular, which makes him an outstanding figure indeed. Let me ask you, does Trinidad and Tobago have a full appreciation of who was Lloyd Best?
Well, I'm not sure what that would involve, true appreciation. I think they know that he was here, that he worked, that his ideas were challenging, and he was unwavering. I think probably the thing about Lloyd is the endurance and the fact that whatever was thrown on him really didn't seem to matter to him. He just kept his course, and his idea was simply, just speak your mind. And in a society where people are so afraid to say exactly what they think in a civil manner, you have to get angry with somebody, you have to abuse people, he would simply say what he thought. And if you wanted to throw the kitchen sink at him, he would just still say what he thought. And I think this is this is the thing that people would remember him for, that he never shirked from that.
Precisely why I asked the question, if there was full appreciation for him, and I meant singularly in the context of that sticking to your position, having a different, daring to be different, daring to speak truth to power. In 1972, Best said he wanted to publicly acknowledge the great influence of C.L.R. James, a Marxist at the time, and he, even though he said that this man enriched the heritage of the region, in fact, he said C.L.R. James has been the largest single influence on my own thought. He still did not accept wholeheartedly the issue of Marxism for the region. He said Marxism should not be uncritically imported into the West Indies. Another example of that need to hear other perspectives, but not just rubber stamp them.
Yeah, well, Lloyd was a supremely self-confident person, and therefore he had the capacity for having differences constantly with people he loved, people he cared for. He was never the person who is, you're either for me or against me, and he would say to you exactly what he thought, and it didn't mean that he didn't love you. Over and over he said that about James, that he was profoundly, had profound love and respect for James. And yet, he thought that CLR was, so connected and so to the international Marxist movement that he missed the Caribbean reality. And I think that's where the fundamental difference is in prescription for in terms of analyzing the region and prescribing. He thought that that James would make a lot of mistakes. And I mean, so these were ideological differences, but they never came, as personal differences, and that's something that all of us have to learn, and to escape the thin-skinnedness, and that people feel that if you like them, you should not criticize them, and if you don't like them, they expect that everything you say would be a criticism. Lloyd just never had those issues. He was always free to speak his mind, and it didn't mean anything personal.
Veteran journalist, former news editor, print and electronic media, Sunity Maharaj is my guest. And if you just locked in, you're wondering why we are talking about Lloyd Best, I'll let you know about that in a minute. But I still want to lay that groundswell, that ground knowledge, that backdrop for Lloyd Best, and you will understand when we get down to the reason for the discussion. He also, while speaking truth to power and disagreeing with a lot of the popular positions taken by politicians in his time, he did make the statement that unless a movement has acquired a culture of free discussion and democratic participation, it will get to the center absent of that unified approach and that understanding to the public. So on the one hand, he would challenge a lot of the accepted conventional norms, but he was very clear in his mind that it must be people participation.
Yeah, Lloyd was very clear about the difference between populism and democracy. he was a man firmly in the anchored in a democratic participation, and where the issue was and has been that not many of us have yet got that personal culture of democracy. Mm-hmm. We are in meetings. You hear the boss comes and they say something, and they say, well, let me hear what you think. And people say, yeah, I think it's a good idea. Blah, blah. And as soon as the meeting is done, they tell you, well, that was stupidness. Mm-hmm. You know, in other words, even when we have complete freedom, the culture inhibits us. The past culture of fear, of being, of not being able to stand in opposition to an idea that there is retribution to be paid, that somehow, even when people say, speak your mind, they will punish you for doing so, inhibits people. And so the populism is what we see a lot in the world today, and we've seen, for a long time, where you could manipulate people to a view and get a groundswell of large numbers of people behind you, and then they realize that what happened was a great deal of manipulation, where democratic participation involves that very thorny process of back and forth and discussion and negotiation between everybody, so that when you come to a position, people are well informed and they know where they stand in relation to the decision that has been taken. And it's not a matter of they like this person or some other thing that has nothing to do with the facts. Now, we see that a lot in the elections and so on that we have, where large numbers of people come out and they vote a party into office. Mm-hmm. When the party gets into office and becomes a government, they cannot get the very same people to do any of the things they need to govern. Right? They say, okay, no, we need people to stop being corrupt. No, we need people to obey the traffic laws. No. And they can't get. So you want to be able to govern or to lead, you must have the moral authority of people who genuinely support where you are, and that requires democratic participation. And I think this is the difference between the populism that Lloyd constantly knocks.
We are thresholding the Lloyd Best Institute, and the reason for our discussion here this morning, one of them clearly is to celebrate a great mind in the Caribbean. A testament to his independence and people-centered politics would be Taphouse House. Speak to us about that, please. The success of Taphouse House, the ability of Taphouse House to articulate and influence Trinbagonians.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Taphouse House itself, the idea itself is an act and a statement of Lloyd's life, which is that the things that you believe in, you must live. You walk the talk. So if you believe, which is what he did, left the university, and because he had fundamental differences. He was also going into politics, but he had fundamental differences with the University of the West Indies. Mm-hmm. And therefore, most people would say, well, I have a difference. I want to try to do something, and when I get money, I'll do that. No, Lloyd went home, cleared a piece of land, put up a Taphouse House of dirt and carrot, and declared that to be his university. And the lesson in that is that we must be unstoppable in the things we believe in. And today, the Taphouse House was a nucleus around which, so it tells you that you don't need all the big concrete 3-story building. That became the locus for a lot of thought and activity and community participation and ideas and so on, out of which came, it started as a Taphouse House group, and then that also gave rise to another organization called the Taphouse Movement, which was a political arm that became part of the National Alliance for Reconstruction and was dissolved thereafter. So the Taphouse Movement, the political party, no longer exists, but the Taphouse House group, as a group of people, still exists. But what has also come out of that was what Lloyd called a private university, which was the Trinidad and Tobago Institute of the West Indies, that we today call the Lloyd Best Institute of the West Indies.
The Lloyd Best Institute is what we are going to be talking about. We're talking about Lloyd Best, who's described as striding the regional intellectual world like a colossus. We are talking to Sunity Maharaj, the managing director of the Lloyd Best Institute. Tell us about the institute. It was established and its mission, and what is happening now. Because this week, very soon, we're going to have, I believe, it's a 10-day focus on what Lloyd Best was all about and his efforts. Detail that for us, please.
Yes, it's Well, the first point I should make is that March 19th, which is next week Sunday, is the 10th anniversary of Lloyd's passing. And it seemed to be an appropriate time to bring to the public's attention the work that has been going on in a season of activity. And so there's a coincidence of that. And quite a number of things are planned on Friday. Nallis will open an exhibition on his work that will run. The formal opening is on Friday at 6:30 p.m. And people can attend, and it will run for a week until the following Friday. On Sunday, there's going to be an event at the Lloyds Institute at 91 Tunapuna Road. We call it We Breaking Beach, and there's a production there that is the producer is Roll Gibbons, and of course there's food and various things, and so it's an evening of celebration and art and culture. And then we get down to work from Monday to Friday of the following week, the 20th to the 24th. We have, the 25th, so Saturday, we have daytime, what we call convoy caravans, that we are going to communities that we have been working with for a long time in arts, in agriculture, in languages, Caribbean languages, in ecology, bush medicine, and so on and so forth. That this information is on the website, Caribbean Yard Campus. And then on the Saturday, we have an event at the Renegades. And in the nighttime, Monday to Friday, we have a series of very distinguished personalities who will be talking. They will be at the Lloyds Institute from 7 to 9, talking about aspects of his work and also, I guess, their own ideas and thoughts about his work and the Caribbean. So all of these, and Dr. Farrell, who was on your program, I don't know if he's still there, he is speaking on next week Thursday night. His topic is the Lloyd Best, the ambivalent intellectuals. I'm very interested in hearing what he has to say on that score.
You see, at the end of the day, that is what it comes down to. Many folks say that the region is absent statesmen because everybody is basing their contribution to the nation or the region along political and ideological lines. And when you get to a stage where you get some statesmen who look at the needs of the country and, by extension, the region, it is indeed a welcome thing.
I think one of the key reasons for doing what we're doing this time is to bring to the fore that confidence that Lloyd had in our capacity. The thing that he championed all his life is to encourage us, and he championed an education system that could release and remove those scales from our eyes so that we could see ourselves in all our beauty, and also to tap into the strength that had taken us from where we were so many centuries ago to where we have it today. And now today we are scared, and we are losing our confidence, and we believe that we are on the sidelines of history. And he was a man who saw himself and saw our potential as people could simply take charge of the place, and you can work yourself out of it. And so there's a message in this convoy that the Institute is having at this time, and it is to claim our confidence. I think that Lloyd is a person at this time, a voice that needs to be heard, and so we will be, talking about that over the course of the week. But there's so much is going on, and that's the community work we've been doing. That if people come and attend these things during the daytime, go to Cora, Couva, Talparo, Renegades in Port of Spain, Cleaver Woods, people are going to meet people who are confident, who are doing things, who understand this country. They may not have 2 and 3 degrees, but they're mastering the place, and so we do have the people.
You see, that's exactly why I'm encouraged by this, because oftentimes you hear is that the vision thing is lost. People are not looking at what they can put in anymore. I think it's because folks are looking for the usual suspects to speak, and when the usual suspects do speak, they speak along ideological lines, political, partisan politics, and there are a lot of voices that are there that are unheard, and I think this endeavor, Education for Caribbean Development, for March 20th to the 24th, indeed will go a long way towards bringing to the fore a lot of different thinkers, people who either challenge what is or find ways to make better, tweak, as it were, the Caribbean for the present day.
Well, we have the people, and the thing is, the reason that We don't know, we don't know. And the question is, how are you going to find out something when you don't know, you don't know? And this is why you have to launch an inquiry into the country. You yourself have to go out, and you will not find at first what people are doing. You have to spend time because they don't trust. They have learned not to trust the institutional apparatus. It will destroy them. It will laugh at them, and so they do their things very quietly. But it's to find them and realize, I think that is the backbone of the country. And we have not altered the power structure that is very centralized and very top-down to be able to find these people who are not at the top.
I like what is happening here because what it does, it invites like minds to be at a place where they are comfortable and where they know folks will take the time to listen. As against even using social media, there's but so much you can put there before there is burnout. So it's very difficult to condense or truncate really extensive ideas in what is it, 200 characters or the like. So
the next time somebody feels that they want to put a strong opinion about something or somebody, I suggest they just close their computer, get up, get in a car, and go and find the person they want to condemn and talk to them and see what the experience is. Go to the place that you want to criticize, who is protesting or whatever, find out what the problem is. That's all it takes. It's a small country. So, and an education will occur in that moment of encounter that you would never, ever get sitting behind your computer.
Veteran journalist Sunity Maharaj, who is the director of the Lloyd Best Institute, we're talking about this initiative. Folks who would like to participate, give me a website, please.
Yes, you can go to, you can check for Caribbean Yard Campus, which is the title of the education initiative that all of this work is going on under. Check for it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also go to the website at CaribbeanYardCampus.org, and you can also you can call 663-5463.
It's 663-5463, or go to Caribbean Yard Campus.
Yes, and there is an ad in today's Express, page 22, that gives all the details of all the different events in one place.
Sunity Maharaj, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for carrying out, being in charge of that institute, carrying that work forward, because, it is very clear that we need those who are dedicated to challenging when necessary the status quo and making recommendations to make this a better place for all of us. I do appreciate what you're doing. I do appreciate the contribution of Lloyd Best, and I do appreciate you for taking the time to be with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
You have yourself a very wonderful day.